All right, so we've built it, we've test driven it. Now it's upgrade time. Time to upgrade this sucker, and the first obvious upgrade is going to be the CVT. That's right. With my daughter driving this.
Oh my God.
This broke in half. Broke in half. So this is a knockoff Comet. This is not forged aluminum. It's cast aluminum. And I was looking at the edge and there's some bad casting in there. But it's a cheap knockoff, so it was a cheap part. Cheap parts break. 18.5 horsepower stock. I'm actually kind of glad this broke sooner than later. So second upgrade I did already was I made this electric start. I added a battery, I added extra length for the wires because I don't know where we're going to move this engine when we put the suspension on the rear, which is another coming upgrade. And I moved the start switch to a convenient spot over there. So now it's electric start, it's super easy. The seat, gotta go. Got to go. Now I'm gonna put a racing seat like this in it to see if a comfy seat along with that solid rear is going to be all right. This is actually pretty comfortable to drive even with that solid rear. So with a racing seat in there, maybe it'll be comfortable enough to be 100% acceptable as a solid rear. I'm still gonna put suspension on it just because I'm gonna show you guys how, but wouldn't it be nice to know you had that option if you've got a smooth place to run. All right, so just to answer a comment somebody left, they wanted me to put the sprocket on the inboard side, flip this whole thing and do some stuff there. But since this is broken, you can see really well. This is a 2-inch like gusset, stub axle, whatever you want to call it. And there's only room enough to put these things in the exact position. Now, if I swap this sprocket to this position and put this outboard, the clutch would also have to go out that same distance, another 2 inches. And as you can see, it is already spaced out 2 inches. So here is the replacement I bought. I bought this off of eBay from a seller in Michigan that goes by Formula_boat. This is 1/4 inch thick steel plate. It's got a ton of adjustability on it. It comes with the shaft, comes with bearings, comes with welded on gussets, and it comes with these retaining collars. I think this ran me $160, which is on the steep side, but it's still cheaper than a full knockoff replacement CVT, and this should fix all of our problems. And it doesn't have that stupid nub coming off of here, so I actually should be able to run my sprocket inboard to get the strength of this plate in there. So I'm just gonna switch over the clutch and driven pulley to this, mount it onto there, and we'll test this sucker out. There we go, it's installed, and let me tell you, this is so much better. I can tell already. Everything in here is so much tighter. The chain fits a lot better. These are a lot tighter. Like, everything just feels so good. All right, do a burnout. Let's see what this baby will do. Think it's donut time? Oh, it's donut time. It's donut time. Off the Gymkhana. this seat makes all the difference. Holy smokes. This barely feels like a rigid axle. It feels like a go-kart that's just got really tight suspension. I know you go-kart guys know what I'm talking about. The ones that just have the stiff springs, no dampening. This seat smooths out all those little bumps that normally feel like a kick in the back. So, this proves it. This seat makes a rigid rear solid axle a viable option. And it's also an upgrade. The seat we bought was $30. Now, this NRG, when I first bought it, was under $200. I think since I told you guys about it, and you guys have been buying them up, they think they're like bride now, or brid, whatever you want to call it. So they've raised their prices. This seat was $288, which me off. Sorry to cuss. I don't usually cuss, but it me off. So it was an inexpensive alternative to a super name brand racing seat, and they raised their prices $100. Not cool. Not cool. And it's the same exact seat as the first one I bought. The quality isn't up. It's not new foam padding. It's still the same fiberglass shell. They actually did nothing different other than raise the price. So if you guys find a less expensive alternative to NRG, let me know and I'll stop buying their seats, because people that just raise their prices, just not cool. Not cool at all. But yeah, unfortunately it's what I know, and you guys know I go with stuff that I know because it fits and I know it works. So all right, so here's the final CVT. I got this all tuned. I had to go to CVT school to get this figured out. I had this running backwards. I did drill a hole to get a tighter spring, but it turned out not working so great. So I put it back in the factory hole, put the preload correctly. I've got my gussets on here, and I got a Comet belt. And I also got a phone holder. Now this is for a bicycle, but it fits 1.25" tube, so I can mount my phone in there and get a speedo. So let's rip this thing. It's long overdue to get a good rip in this. So that's it. Test drive of the 459 Predator budget build, done. This thing is a blast. This thing is so fun to drive. I don't even think it needs a rear suspension. I'm hesitant to get to work on it because I want to have more fun playing with it. The engine is nice and torquey. We topped out at about 35, but it has more. It definitely has more. We weren't to redline yet, or the rev limiter on the Predator motor yet, and it was still gaining speed. So, and that's unmodded. That's without modifications at all. That's not even removing the governor. We were able to do all that. Next thing, I'd like to just start putting an intake on that motor, put an exhaust on it. I don't know. But yeah, this thing is so fun. You notice we weren't wearing the helmet or a harness. We were just in the backyard. Most of it was just doing donuts and drifting around a little bit. We topped out at 35 a couple times. But we were confident enough with the rigid rear that we weren't going to get bounced around and hit this the cage. So that says a lot about how smooth this rigid rear is. Now the tires are, I think, 22-inch on 10-inch rims, and they've got enough balloon in them to give some suspension in the back. This front end suspension's working great. The seat helps out a ton. This is an awesome way to get into cross karting. In this same frame, I'm gonna put a rear suspension on it. So, I love the whole idea of this. Thank all of you for joining me on this adventure. Thanks for tuning into the videos. This is so fun doing this, and I love seeing everybody's builds and all the updates and everybody that is getting excited about building these and getting to drive them. So, I'll see you guys next time.